boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Hello and welcome back to our next episode of the Doggone Truth of Rescue with Always and Furever. We finally have Jennifer Dulski back with us for season 2. She had pre-recorded an episode that was supposed to be our first one, or second one. We're holding on to that in our pocket for a later date. So she's finally back on. I'm going to say that you've been away handling your emotions.
I think that's a fair statement. A lot has gone on since... Is it 2023 now? Since January 2023 yes, and the last time. Hey, first, a shout out and thank you to you two for our 1-year anniversary of this podcast. And I think it's incredible. For those that are not aware, I randomly, what were we talking about one day? I said, if you guys someone brought up the podcast. I didn't bring it up. How did we
Wasn't me?
think of this? It might have been me. I have some great ideas.
We were at hockey, and then I remembered we met up for appetizers before a game, and I brought my laptop.
Okay, but who thought of the podcast first?
I remember.
Was it me?
It was our drive to...
Our drive with Bailey.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And we were listening to podcasts.
Yes.
And then that's when we decided.
Look at that. See, it was a God thing. And I said, I'll buy the equipment if you guys go on and learn how to do it. And they dove in the deep end without knowing a single thing about how to do a podcast, the technology behind it. You guys don't see all the work and incredible devotion they put in behind the scenes. So thank you guys for that. And every single person that listens loves it. And everyone on our staff and team members love to be a part of it. So you guys are amazing and special. It's just one little aspect of our rescue.
I knew you were sitting over there waiting to do it. We have, I think, 4 features on there of different sounds.
4 more than you did on the very first day.
But I'm going to review our stats for the last year because I think it's incredible. We've had 4,229 downloads since we've published.
Amazing.
And then all of our episodes, location-wise, we're in 52 countries, 952 cities.
That's
so almost
amazing.
1,000 cities around the world.
All from one little red barn in Spring Hill, Kansas.
This is interesting. 24 downloads in Africa.
Wow.
23 in Australia, 78 in Asia, 5 in South America, 111 in Europe.
Way to go, world representation.
And then almost 4,000 in North America. Nailed it. But Jen, we have to give a thank you back to you for giving us the equipment, the freedom, the ideas, putting us together. And the eggs get on so big, you say people are looking forward to being on it.
Yeah, so. It's exciting. And I think that's how our rescue was founded and run and continues to. The majority of us don't have a background in podcasts or even rescue itself. It's if you have the determination, the heart, and the willing to work hard, you can accomplish anything as long as you throw your whole self into it.
So now that we finally have you, we've had special guests on our last 2-3 episodes with Judy, Sarah, Amy, Shelby, but you've been hiding from us. So now we can finally get your viewpoint, opinions, comments, questions on the conditional use permit. So mic is yours.
I don't even know where to begin. If you're new to this podcast, we had recently purchased 40 acres in Spring Hill, Kansas, just completely adjacent to our 5 acres that we currently operate our little red barn from. The goal, we purchased it April 5th, 2022. The steps that we went through to get that, I think I shared that on another podcast. And from the beginning, when we opened our doors, I say this all the time, everything was heaven connected. We are exactly where we're supposed to be. And one of the hardest things to recognize and acknowledge is that the journey that we see in our minds and the path that God has a plan for don't always hook up. But it's having the faith and knowing that every single speed bump and obstacle is leading us to the right place along the path. And we submitted our application for the conditional use permit, I think within a month of when we purchased the land. So probably May. And we didn't know what we were doing then. And I think I was the one that submitted it. And the right people came in the picture to help us to get to where we are today. Now, for those that attended the hearing, if you haven't watched it, you're more than welcome to watch it online. I think it's still on Miami County's website, or we have it on our own at alwaysandforever.org. there was a recommendation by the staff to deny, and then we went in front of the planning commission, and their recommendation was deny. And I didn't come on this podcast after both of the meetings because I needed a moment to process the loss, I think, and the grief that comes to pouring your whole heart and soul into something and it not going the way that you plan. And I gave myself about 24 hours to throw myself a pity party, and I did. And I was probably at one of the lowest spots I had been, not emotionally, but personally. And I say that because of everything in life is perspective. And when you live through something that changes your life forever, you think, well, that, if I live through that, I can live through anything. And even every step along this way, when we say goodbye to so many animals, when they say, how do you do that? It's focusing on the love versus more than the loss. And so I gave myself to wallow and be upset. And then I said, okay, we got together as a board and we said, what are the next steps? What are we going to do? And what are the great takeaways from this? And from every moment after that, we focused on all of the good that came from that meeting, to see the people that came and spoke in front of, you guys are there and you were amazing, but to know some of the people that came there and they put their own personal fears aside. And I will say that's probably, I've done a lot of things in my life and a lot of things that most people would be incredibly nervous about. This was the most nervous I had ever been speaking in front of that, because this was not just my dream. This was all of our dreams. This was the world's dream. This was every single person that you listed behind those countries that are following us. That was all of our supporters. I'll share a funny story. I am such a nerd about music and musicals, and I love Disney movies and all that. So I don't know where this song came from. I was listening it with my nieces and nephews, and the song from Trolls, that Get Back Up Again song, I had it on repeat the entire way to the conditional use hearing, and I was just blasting it and singing it the whole way there, because that is life. You fall down, you get back up, and you smile through it. And everything it really is perspective. And there was so much to be proud of the people that showed up, and they poured their heart and soul into it, and the letters of love and support. And one of the most beautiful things was every single planning commissioner said, hands down, we are a world-class rescue. Hands down. They just didn't want us there. But I mean, they didn't want, and here's the thing. I am a big believer in transparency, and what we did, while it didn't get passed, it was the right thing, because we put our whole dream in front of them, and we said, we're not hiding anything. This is it. This is the huge plan. And we said it's a phased project. Will it take 10 years? Will it take 20? I don't know. But we showed it to them, and they said, it's too much. It's not okay in this, in this neighborhood. I mean, the barns are going to just be so beautiful. I mean, I am the closest neighbor to this property, and I would never want to do anything to steal my neighbor's peace. So I think one of the hardest things for me too was they put our neighbors that were objecting right next to my table. And there was one gentleman who I very much know is not a fan of mine. And I will say that in the most polite way. I don't know him, but he refused to sit down, and he kind of hovered over me in the meeting, and I could actually feel his breath on me. So that's how close he was. But I kept thinking, they are there because their peace is threatened. And I never want we never want to do that to anyone else. So everything that needed to happen happened. And we came back and we withdrew our application. That is up. That I have for everyone right now, because that plan ultimately would not have passed. And what we have done is we have taken all these concerns, and we are going to apply again and propose building on only the top 20 acres versus the bottom 22. And it's a much more simplified plan, but it gets our buildings up, it gets us saving lives, and it just gets us started to where we need to be. And we can focus on the negative. There's anybody, there's always good and bad in everything, and it's whatever you choose to focus on. And I will always say this, as a board, as a rescue, and as a following, as a tribe, and as a community, we focus on the good. And so many beautiful things are coming ahead, and with my whole heart, I believe this is going to pass.
So you talked about the phases of the original conditional use permit. Let's circle back to what was the main topic, the Osawatomie Pound of phase 1. What condition is that in now?
That's a really good question. There's an incredible demand for a new shelter, and before we started helping, those animals were just mass euthanized. The city doesn't have money for that. And Miami County and Paola pay Osawatomie to take care of the Miami County animals, and the Paola is the city there. And what we want to do is we want to build a new shelter, and we want to do that for free and not charge the taxpayers or city any money through donations, because we are all big believers, and it doesn't matter where a dog comes from. If they need help and we have people willing to help and support it, then we do. That is what rescue is. It's not about who comes from where or what municipality we have to work for or anything politics. I don't follow any politics in that sense, so I might ruffle some feathers along the way, because titles don't matter to me. They never have. They don't matter in this rescue, and they don't matter outside. Everyone sees people as a soul, and we see animals as a soul, and that's one of the problems with animal rights. They just don't have the rights that they should. Most recently, the air conditioning broke down at the Osawatomie Pound. Actually has been broken for a year, so it needed to be replaced. Last year, we rented a commercial air conditioning unit, which cost us about $18,000. Now, you might think we are crazy for doing that, but the thought process was we thought we would have our shelter up by the end of the year last year, and that was the best unit to do that, and we didn't want to invest $10,000, $15,000 for a unit that wouldn't transfer to our new building. But yet everything kept getting delayed, and we're delayed again. So this makes sense to purchase it now. We raised the funds. We're waiting for the unit to come in. The statute requires that if you are housing animals, it has to be at least 85 degrees or under. And on a day when it hits 90 to 100 degrees outside, this is a metal shed, and the animals basically fry and bake inside, as well as our human workers that are there. So first and foremost, it's human safety and it's animal safety. And so if we have to come together as followers and believers in their lives and raise the money, then we donate that to the city, and we put an air conditioner in there.
Is that still going to be a part of the phase 1 of the 20 acres?
Okay, so basically it was phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 of the old plan for anyone that followed it. All we essentially did was remove all of phase 3, which was the bottom 20 acres. And we revised the top 20 acres a little bit. So there's still 4 red barns on it. There will be a feline center, and there will be a vet clinic for in-house care of our homestead animals and always and forever fosters. Now that obviously is not open to the public, but and then we'll have 3 little tiny villas for our special animals that might be with us forever, that are hard to adopt, something like that. But it's a plan that takes in consideration of our neighbors, our needs, the most important needs. And, the very first phase is getting that new Miami County shelter up. And because they need us, there are so many animals in need there, and not just the Miami County animals. Animals are dying in kill shelters all across the country right now. People are dumping dogs left and right, and we don't have fosters. And if we don't have space, we can't help. And right now, so what you might see if you follow us on social media, very few rescues have the ability to take in special needs, medical needs dogs or cats. So we have been taking a ton of animals that have parvo or have amputations, or recently we had both a cat and a dog that had pregnancies where they were stuck during birth. So a puppy was stuck, a kitten was stuck, and then they need an emergency C-section. An emergency C-section for a dog is about $4,000. So I know it's insane. So, and then you get these messages at 11 o'clock at night, and it's, we're in a group with other rescues, and not everybody sees it too. So what we did, a few months ago, we rolled this out. There was a beautiful little puppy. I will torment myself forever on this. Her name was Panda, and an owner brought her in, and she was maybe 2-3 months old. Beautiful black and white little beautiful girl. And she had parvo, and the owner didn't want to pay for it and brought her to an emergency clinic, and they said, can anybody save? And it was 10 o'clock. It was 11 o'clock at night, something like that. And I actually think this was right around the conditional use permit, and things weren't going my way, and I shut my phone off for the night, which is pretty rare for me. And I never keep my phone on loud or vibrate because I get so many notifications, but I'm always checking it. And that night I just made a conscious effort. I'm like, I'm setting my phone down. And it was 10 o'clock. I remember doing that. And I woke up at 4 a.m. like I normally do. And I saw nobody had responded because they said, can someone help this puppy? Otherwise, we're going to, I think she wrote it at 11. And then said, if we don't have commitment by 12, we're going to euthanize. And I think I woke up at 4 and said, we will help. And I think she responded at 5:30 that she was gone. And it wasn't even that we had a spot. It was that we knew we could pay for it overnight because we would fundraise. You know, what's interesting and amazing and so beautiful about us is that we put the faith in all of our followers that we will come together and find a way to raise $4,000, because sometimes people don't realize that an emergency vet one night is about $1,000 to $2,000 if they need plasma transfers, if they need, you know, intensive care. And then you add that up for like 9 days, you're at $9,000 to save a parvo puppy's life. We had that happen once. I think it was the bucket puppies. There were 5 of them left in a bucket and they all had parvo. But beautiful little Panda was euthanized because I didn't check my phone. So we started an emergency funds in honor of Panda, so we call it Panda Funds. And so any member of our team, if they see a message like that in the middle of the night, we will sponsor the medical care for one night. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have the ability to place, but it means other rescues can wake up at 5 a.m. and know, okay, this puppy is adoptable. If they're paying for one night, we can help. And I think what's so amazing about Always and Furever is too is that even when we're full and we don't have a place for dogs to go, our intake coordinator and Craig, our transportation coordinator, so Kelly and Craig, they work to place dogs with other rescues. So Craig arranges freedom rides for other rescues in Iowa that otherwise couldn't pull a dog from Kansas. And without Craig, that dog would not be alive to get to Kansas because of his incredible network of volunteers that he has built and the relationships he built with them. Kelly is working to network with other rescues that, you know, can place a Cocker Spaniel or, you know, can place a senior Chihuahua. And, you know, maybe we don't have the same foster. So the lives we save, you know, aren't representative in our total number. It's, you know, it's an amazing ripple effect of kindness where everybody's in this together just to save lives.
I've seen some very extreme cases in the morning when I wake up at night. I think most recently a dog had swallowed a fish hook. Along those lines. And I can't fathom. I'm going to circle back to the Panda because I heard you say because I didn't check my phone that they were euthanized. There were so many other things leading up to that moment that I hope you don't put all of that weight on your shoulder. But from it, all the positive, it's changed everything within Always and Furever and how we handle those situations now.
I think that's a little bit of what we all do. And I think that's what makes us human. And I think the second that we don't feel the pain of even a dog that we've never met, that's just a photo and just a message, the second we don't recognize that a soul was lost and one of us could have done something, that's when we need out of here. That's when we need to step away from rescue, because we are holding ourselves to a higher standard to be better than what anyone expects us to be and to be better than what we expect us to be, because they deserve more. And, you know, our whole team took that loss personally, and I take it on my shoulders because they know now that they, you know, there's no look for anyone's permission. It's when there is a way, we find it, we jump all in. So what we did was we established parameters around understanding how to do that, because sometimes, you know, things go astray and then, you know, we're paying for a dog. We don't know where the dog to go. And then I was like, where's the dog going to go? But it's finding a way, and it's saying, you know, let's come together. Let's pay for a night. Let's give them a fighting chance to find someone. And I would love to do that at every single vet. All we're doing it right now is at one very popular emergency vet where extreme neglect cases come in, where parvo comes in all the time, fish hook puppies. There are 2 fish hook puppies, you go fishing and one's stuck in the throat, one's stuck in the stomach, and the estimate for one of them was $15,000. Name a great owner that has $15,000 lying around. I don't. I never did. I still don't. And it's okay. Well, what do we need to do to find a way? And, this owner actually didn't turn out to be the best method because there were a ton of lies. And, we do everything we can if it's a loving owner to keep an animal with their family. We are 100% behind that. But we'll do background checks. We do, it's the whole 9 yards to make sure that who we are placing and helping this animal with is the right place for them to be, and that we trust if we're going to help. Or we try to take the dog away or cat.
Talking about finances, I want to circle back to the conditional use permit and how much money went into that first phase and everything that went with it. Are there any regrets on that end? That money could have been used somewhere else? Did we see the percentage of it getting approved in the first place of putting that much effort into it?
That's such a good and valid question, because a donor could say, am I donating to you and you're just throwing it away on pursuing, a whimsical dream? And I would say everything that we do is leading us to where we are today and where we need to be. Now, there have been some really tough conversations with this conditional use permit, but that have also led to really great and positive changes. One tough time when someone went after TK, we worked with the county and we proved that he is not vicious, but we had to put a fence around our entire 5 acres. Is $70,000. Now we could look at it as, holy cow, that's a lot of money, but ultimately, it's protecting our animals from other animals coming onto our property, which is really what we've had. We have never had one of our dogs get loose and attack anyone off property, but we have had neighbors' dogs come into our property, and we have aggressive dogs that are double leashed. We cannot protect a dog that runs onto our property, but now, out of a complaint that we addressed and it is no longer relevant, we have a beautiful 6-foot fence because our followers believe in TK and believe in what we do and why we do it. So if you look at what has happened over the course of the conditional use permit, like I said, yes, it has cost a lot of funds, but everything has been to where it has built us to not only understand the dream, process it, put it into reality. These are steps to make this happen, and we have to go through it. It truly is a journey. And I think I said this, I can't remember who I said this. I'm like, I feel like we are like living a movie. We're like Rudy. We're like the underdog and everybody needs to cheer for us because that's what it is. And there was a moment at the conditional use permit hearing where I'm like, and I'm actually a lawyer. I've been in front of boards, and those are really high pressure, tense situations, and I've done presentations there. And I was sitting in this, and I'm like, I cannot believe that I am in this capacity running a rescue, fighting to get this approved. But that's life. You never know what you're going to have to go through. And we are truly changing and making history with what we're doing. Nobody is proposing to do what we do and how we do it. And like I said, maybe they voted to deny us, but every single one of them could not deny how impeccable we are and the value that we provide to this community. So a huge thank you to those commissioners for that recognition, and to our incredible staff who all came out and spoke and talked about their love and the care, and the volunteers that were there, and our community. Like I said, there was so much good from that. And even the people, all of you that have joined and paid attention to this podcast and followed us, we are changing the world, and we're doing it exactly how God intends us to, one single step at a time.
You've said it before, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. It was Amy that brought it up before, and I know this question has come up multiple times. If it wasn't approved, why'd you buy the land in the first place? Do you want to touch on that? Do you want me to touch on that and my view on it?
Well, yeah, I'd love to hear your view, because my view is simple. We're meant to be there. I feel it. I know it. Everything in my soul screams it. And Amy and I didn't even know Amy. And I think this first conversation we had, she's like, who owns that land? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, let's find out. And I'm like, we should buy it. It took us 3 years. And I said, she wrote an incredible letter, and they couldn't give two craps about the letter. They're like, let's sell it and make money. And, we went after it. When you go after something, you go all in. This land was meant for God's animals. Now, before we were there were like 100 cows. So I don't understand how we are messing up the water more than a cow times 100. But, all these things are, some of them are ridiculous. But that's just me going off things. And I said this before I even got a single board member to come. I was like, the price, it was a time when land was insane. And, everybody's buying land. And, sure, we could have gotten cheaper 4 years ago. They weren't selling it 4 years ago. There was no interest. We didn't have the following. We didn't have the sport. That's why things turn out the way that they're supposed to be, even when we don't understand them. We are not meant to understand them. We are meant to trust. And so I was like, Jane is our treasurer. Jane has been on this show. I'm like, I just got to get Jane on this land, and then she'll feel it, and then she'll know. And I'm like, I got to get Judy and Craig and Scott, because once you're there and you walk it and you feel the peace, and we invited the commissioners to come, and one of them actually drove by, because the intent and the purpose of that land. And it's so good, and it's so beautiful, and it will all work out. I know that. So if I had come on here the night after, you would have gotten it probably a little different, a little angry, a little sad, but, give yourself the time to feel and process everything you feel. And I said this too a lot when it comes with grief. No one ever tells you not to be happy. So why would you tell someone not to be sad? Feel the emotions, recognize them. But it's my belief anger is a choice, as is love. And it's very easy to hate. It's easy to be angry. It's harder to love. And truthfully, we love our neighbors, and we would never want to hurt them, ever. And so when they sit there, and if I'm feeling hostility, it might be from me, too. So I have to be cognizant of that, because we want to find a plan that works for everyone, because we're not going away.
Well, I have one more comment on that.
So what did you think? You guys went to the conditional use permit. Tell me what you saw and felt from being as an outsider perspective, because I was in the room and they kicked you guys out.
They did. We were having a party in the hallway.
You were not from Miami County, so you did not get to be in the room.
The topic that I brought on with the land, I think it's very important that people finally see it kind of work backward. If you bought the land and it's been over a year of waiting on the conditional use permit that was finally denied. So if you would have waited for that land would not still be available. The way the land's selling, it would have been gone, and then you would have been a neighbor waiting to see what was going to be happening to the land that you knew was meant for you, which would have been an undeniable internal struggle. I don't know how you would have handled it if someone else would have bought the land, knowing it was meant for you.
That's the whole thing. If you wait on your dreams, someone else will live it for you. Yes. Don't wait on your dreams. This is our dream. We had to act, and we did. That is what we do in this rescue. And if we wait for the funds, if we wait for everything to align, if you guys waited to know what you were doing in the podcast versus sitting in Bailey's pee in the cuddle room the first day and dogs are barking and noises were going, you can't wait. Life is too short. And
started from the bottom, now we're here.
That's exactly right.
And one comment on that. Our first episode is the most downloaded of over 600. And I just pray that people continued and listened past that, and it's not the first impression. I've contemplated taking it down because we've come so far since then.
You cannot take it down. No.
But it's the most listened and downloaded episode of it. If you want to laugh, just go back and listen if you've been following along for all of this journey. But yeah, we would have never started. We almost didn't. We had the equipment for 2 months.
Because it's overwhelming. Like, you look at it and you're like, I would not touch this with a 10-foot pole.
But so is buying 42 acres without a conditional use permit.
But isn't that funny how what's overwhelming to some, others can just dive in and be like, I got this. But that's the strength and beauty of having a team, because, I got you. Like, you guys are like, I got you on this. And I'm like, I trust you. And it's the same thing. It's, Craig, his team, Megan, we've got a new foster coordinator, Ginger and Christy, who are crushing it. And it's so amazing. Our adoption team, who are remote, love them too. Sue and Sharon. It's so crazy beautiful how people come together in such unique, special ways that, I've watched our med team evolve, and I laugh because Jane and I were the med team at the beginning. But here's the thing too, from that. I laugh, but yet I don't know, whoever has been to an emergency vet room, and Sheila, I go with you anytime that you would go, because you don't have to know anything, but you gotta ask questions. I love our vets, most of them, but I will fight with them. You have to speak up for your animal. Please don't just take their word for it. You would question it for a loved one who is a human being. Question things. I've watched dogs and cats, and I want to just speak up and shout I think that's one of the worst ways to spend your time is in an emergency vet waiting room, because you see all the cases that come in and your heart just bleeds and breaks, and I want to hold their hand, and that's what we do with our animals. No soul ever passes alone. And I think you guys talked about McCoy already, but it's such a beautiful thing. But to be a stranger and be like, hey, I'll go with you. I feel like that's something I won't do yet. But
I love that you said yet, because I'm gonna be like, when Jen retires, we're gonna find her down at the emergency vet and be like, oh, she's down at the vet again. Somebody go get her. You're gonna be like the Walmart greeter of the emergency vet.
But I will speak up and question things. And I would encourage anybody that ever goes to their vet, question things, guys, get a second opinion. If you don't know, there are a million different Facebook support groups all over the world. Even our volunteer group, join our volunteer group, shoot a question out. We're all here to support each other. One of my favorite things, I don't remember who was saying it or when we were talking about it, but I think so we do monthly volunteer calls. So every Saturday, first Saturday of the month, I'll jump on a Zoom call. So anybody's welcome to do that. And we invite any volunteer or follower that wants to, catch up on our rescue or so forth. It's really informal. And then you can ask me and our team questions. Someone was like, well, I don't have an ANF alumni, but, I have this dog who's selective and blah, blah, blah. She's like, I feel like I'm part of Always and Forever because my heart's aligned with yours and we have the same mission. I thought that was the most beautiful thing she said, because it doesn't matter where your animal comes from. If your heart is connected to this mission and what we do, you are a part of us. And the bottom line is we're all connected in this whole universe. And when you really take a step back and realize why we're here and what we're doing, take all the petty stuff aside, get rid of the conditional use permit hearing. We will get our buildings up. We will save these animals. We will find a way. God will not let us fail.
Did we do a recap on the gala yet?
I was going to transition into that, and then you. So
hold on. Let me get in here. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so we had the 2 CUP meetings, and then afterwards, I think it was a great celebration. I mean, even though it didn't turn out in our favor, but we ended up celebrating with is it the gala? How do we say this?
I call it a gala. I don't know. Some people say gala.
Okay, gala. So the gala was a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing to see everybody just dressed up. Jen was in a dress, you guys.
Okay.
Jen was in a dress. Me and Sheila came after a football game, and we were kind of rusty. But we came. Kingston did come. It looked amazing. Huge shout out to all our listeners if you supported. We had a lot of online auctions,
We did not win the trip to Greece.
Yeah, we did not win the trip to Greece. But someone did.
Someone did.
Yeah.
Someone won one of everything.
I won pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at Serve. So that's our team outing, by the way.
The new chicken and pickle.
Yeah.
But how much was raised? It was a pretty substantial amount.
After expenses, we raised about $75,000. So yeah, and that's incredible, considering we actually had 100 less people than the year before.
Really?
So that's hats off to Shelby and Miranda and everybody, all the incredible volunteers to that. But let me break this down to you. $75,000 sounds phenomenally huge, right? Our medical expenses are about $50,000 a month. We had 1 month where we actually had an additional $45,000 on top of our average $50,000 cost. Our $50,000 is just to take care of the 150 some animals, regular veterinarian care. Now, in that,
like Jane.
Yeah, and that's kind of what was like how the fishhook dogs, the parvo dogs. You think about one $15,000 surgery, and you think of, okay, who's the Roddy from KCMO, the beautiful little girl? Come on. Ember, yeah. So her stomach flipped. That was $9,000, at the emergency vet. But the most incredible part about that was she is our only stomach flip survivor from surgery. So she is our little miracle, and she's in a adopter's home now. Super loved, super loved. I think that's my favorite part about us, honestly, what Connie does with the follow-ups of our alumni, because they stay with us forever. You love them forever. Doesn't matter who they're living with.
I finally posted Kingston on the alumni page.
I know, I saw.
And the responses were incredible. You just get that sense of community. And then people were asking where we went on our kayak trip. And then I was able to get recommendations. And now they're going to go. It's just such a heartwarming
And the more
page.
you share, too, the more people are, drawn in and living vicariously through you, because we really saw this in COVID. Not many people can have a dog, and you have so many older generations where, they had a dog, they loved them, but they can't take care of it anymore. So they live vicariously through your love and our animals. And that's what the good morning videos do, and the good night videos, and every water video. We took TK on the boat the other day. it's making their lives worth living too. So it's when you're having fun, and they're going to have fun with you, and whatever energy you bring and you do, the animals feel it.
Okay, so is there any huge events coming up?
We're always, Miranda's the person to get on here and talk about that. There are a couple, I always find it funny when people ask me questions about that, because I don't know. I just show up when they tell me. I'm the morning feeder. We've got a couple parades coming up in June. I think we're doing the KC Pride Parade. We're doing a Gardner Pride Parade. We love parades. We're doing the Osawatomie Miami County Parade. Spring Hill Parade's not till September, so that's the one I know.
Ooh, we're doing the Q for the cause. Oh, I love that one.
You guys. So you're doing. You guys will be there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had so much fun.
Come on,
last
we
year.
need a chief to show up at our conditional use permit hearing in August. You guys can do it.
We're working on it.
We need some celebrity. Any celebrity.
We got Casey Wolf just to show.
Give the show up, do a little dance. She can speak.
He just stands up
Can
there.
I just tell you how much people love that, though?
People
that was
love him.
such a huge. So he came to our gala. For those that weren't there, it was a huge hit, and my
Here
mom
I
even
am
loved
was
it.
like, what chief player is going to be there?
It was awesome.
Casey Wolf brings a vibe and energy and everything.
Yeah.
He just same as always and forever.
Yeah.
That's why it went so well. But it is parade season, so be on the lookout for Always and Forever. And if you're looking for a dog, they're going to be in the parade as well. So it's a good opportunity. Come out, say hello, meet some dogs.
Yeah.
We should do a post on which dogs are going to be featured in the parades. Or is that a game time decision?
It's kind of game time, because it's got to be dogs that can handle crowds, that are young, that are healthy, so our oldies don't come to the parades unless it's really September and cooler. And our lunatics, we generally try to leave at home. So, we've got a ton of young, amazing dogs right now. And so if you want to come and walk a dog, or if you want to ride the float, we'll take the trailer out. People sit, we decorate it all. It's the whole 9 yards. We might do a parade on our homestead too, and go just drive around our land.
You usually do.
So, we did the Pride Parade on the 5 acres, but we didn't have the 40 then. And we always do our 0.1K.
That's right.
Been on
So,
the 40 acres?
Yeah.
You have? Okay.
so we've got paved paths on there now, just walking paths. So we've taken a mower, because before it was like tick city. So it's a lot better now. But so many fun things ahead. We still have our doggy dates. You can cut me off all you want. I will talk forever. So
I do want to ask about that. Are the hotel nights still a thing? So I haven't
They
seen
sure
too much
are.
of it.
Who should we throw under the bus that's not posting it? Should we just throw Megan or Beth?
I don't know. I just haven't seen it on my news feed a
I
lot.
haven't seen it.
We haven't posted it. We have it on our website. It's really anyone that wants to spend a night with a dog. We will sponsor your hotel and sponsor a DoorDash for you. That's just, we haven't put the post up, but we haven't taken that away. And for that, I will say, guys, so much has happened from January to now behind the scenes. That was the tip of the iceberg of what we shared tonight. What we do day in and day out with fosters, with adopters, with intake, with returns, with medical, with our board. It's an amazing, beautiful machine that, there's kinks along the way, but we got to where we are because no one gives up. And I think that's the beauty of everything with this. It's a journey. It's trusting the process and finding the joy along the way, with the heartache, with the sorrow, and with the disappointment. Really, it goes back to that song, and never give up. And then
I'm going to have to listen to it after this.
Oh my gosh, it's the best song. I mean, it's just okay. It's okay. I will sing it in the car, but that's about it.
5 years down and 1,000 more to go, Jen.
I don't know how to wrap it up any better than what you all just said.
Well, I know how we can wrap
play
it
the
up.
song for you if you want.
Okay, but hold on before you
well,
play
no,
the
because
song.
then it might be copyright.
Hold on before you wrap it up, Jen. We need a dog for the cover.
Oh, yeah. Should we do the puppies?
Yeah,
all four of them.
Ooh,
the bug
butterfly,
puppies, bug
grasshopper. Help me out here.
Okay, so they were left at an emergency vet in Wichita, and they were dumped, and they were in a car in a horrid filthy, and then they were taken to the animal shelter where they were youth listed because they believed that they had parvo, and parvo is a deadly virus because they had a certain smell to them. Well, it turns out they were just severely neglected and malnourished, and no other rescue stepped forward. It was the same thing with the panda emergencies funds. And, we agreed to take them. We didn't have anywhere to go. Our amazing vet took them for a little while. And, we had an opening. And now there are 4 little beautiful tiny puppies at the little red barn that I spent my morning with. And they are amazing because they are kennel trained. They didn't even poop in the kennel. I'm so proud of them. And we've had dogs in the barn that just literally throw poop at me all the time. And I was so prepared for a morning covered, and I wasn't. And it was just, I'm not really a puppy person. I love the oldies. I love puppies, but I love when they go to someone else, and because they were so much work. But these guys are amazing. What are they? Maybe 2 months old?
Well, and if you would like to foster or adopt, we buy online, always and forever, at our website. And then, Jen, we end the episode with the Always and Forever mission statement, if you want to rattle that off.
Our dream is to wake up into a world where every animal is treated with kindness, dignity, respect, and most importantly, their life has been touched by love, even if only for a moment.
It's never too late for a happily ever after. I know it.
You did it!
I know.
Thanks for coming out, Jen.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jen. Until next time.